At the beginning of the story, we are shown a girl named Zoe. Here, we also see her older sister, who gifts her a new car. Actually, Zoe was going to New Mexico to meet her boyfriend. That's why her older sister gives her this car, so that she can travel there easily. However, her sister didn't want Zoe to go there. But Zoe's boyfriend was waiting for her, which is why it was very important for her to go. One thing you should also note is that Zoe cannot hear. That's why her older sister communicates with her through sign language. Her sister tells her that since she's going to a new place, she should be a little careful around people there. While traveling, Zoe keeps sending calls, messages, and photos to her boyfriend Nova. Her boyfriend gets worried, so she keeps sending him pictures of every place. After entering New Mexico, she parks her car at a location. There, she meets a man named Henry, who makes handmade items and sells them. From his appearance, we can assume he might also be into occult practices. Pay attention to this man, he'll be important later. After this, when Zoe is about to leave, she once again starts clicking photos on her phone. She is sending messages to Nova when suddenly her attention gets distracted. A man appears in front of her. Luckily, she turns the car in time. At that same moment, Zoe sees some thugs dragging a man with their car. Suddenly, the man slips and falls to the ground, and their car runs him over. Seeing this, Zoe gets extremely scared. She wants to save the injured man, so she quickly gets out of her car and brings him inside her vehicle. But at that moment, all the thugs arrive there. Among them, we see a man named Trey, who tells Zoe to drop the knife and surrender. But Zoe has a small knife and keeps attacking them. In their group, there's also a man named Kelvin, who has a large knife. The man Zoe saved is attacked and killed with that same knife. After that, when Trey tries to catch Zoe, she finds an opportunity and escapes. But Trey doesn't let her go. He shoots her in the legs with a gun. She gets injured and falls down. Then we see that they take Zoe to their hideout, where they brutally torture her. They also find a photo of her boyfriend. One by one, they assault her. Meanwhile, Nova becomes very worried, because Zoe hasn't sent him any calls, messages, or photos for a long time. The last thing he received was a photo of a board showing a place in Mexico. After that, he calls the police. On the other side, Trey continues torturing Zoe, even sprinkling salt on her wounds. He boasts about his lineage, saying his great-grandfather was the great Joseph Colonel, who killed countless people, and that the same blood runs in his veins. He shows Zoe a freezer full of human skeletons and says these are all the people his grandfather killed. He mentions a general named Magnus who betrayed his great-grandfather, so his entire family was wiped out. After that, Trey goes to play cards with his friends. Kelvin tells him they can't keep Zoe for long, or they'll get caught if the news spreads. So they must get rid of her quickly. Kelvin is the leader, so no one opposes him. Then we see Zoe unconscious, dreaming about her boyfriend. When she wakes up, she realizes her hands and legs are tied with metal wires. Even though it seems impossible, she somehow manages to free herself. But as soon as she tries to escape, Kelvin arrives and stabs her, killing her. After that, we see Nova, who sets out to find his girlfriend while carrying her photo. The scene shifts, and we see Henry again, the man I told you to pay attention to earlier. In the morning, while walking his dog, the dog runs toward a buried body. And that body turns out to be Zoe's, whom those men had killed and buried there. Seeing her in this condition, Henry feels very bad. As I told you before, he is into occult practices. He takes Zoe with him to his van, where he prepares some herbs and applies them to her wounds. Then he begins performing rituals to bring her back to life. It shouldn't have worked, but he still tries. During this, he sees everything those men did to Zoe. He has certain powers that allow him to witness all of it, and it deeply disturbs him. So he decides to revive her at any cost and starts chanting dark mantras. Suddenly, Zoe begins to levitate in the air. It feels like something has possessed her. She throws Henry to the ground and says she will send them all to hell. Somehow, Henry manages to calm her down. The next morning, when Zoe regains consciousness, she doesn't know where she is. But as her memories slowly return, a fire of rage ignites inside her. While walking, she reaches a telephone and calls Nova. Shockingly, she can now hear everything. Hearing her voice, Nova feels relieved. Zoe cries and begs him to save her. Nova tells her not to worry and says he'll find her location and come get her. At that moment, a police car stops in front of Zoe. She approaches the officer for help but realizes he is one of the same men who hurt her. This officer was also involved in the assault. He goes into a bar to drink, and after some time, Zoe follows him inside. She grabs a beer bottle, breaks it, and attacks him with it. She brutally kills him. The bartender tries to shoot her, but Zoe attacks and kills him too. Another man tries to stop her, but she kills him as well. As the officer is dying, he begs for forgiveness and offers to testify against the others. But Zoe does not forgive him and kills him on the spot. Later, when Nova arrives, the sheriff stops him from entering. When he asks about his girlfriend, the sheriff denies any knowledge. Nova insists that she called him from here, but the sheriff says a murder just happened, and asks him to leave and come to the office later. After some time, the group of men arrives there since their friend has been killed. Nova approaches them and asks if they've seen a girl, showing Zoe's picture. Trey denies knowing anything, but when Nova says she called him from here, Kelvin gets shocked because he personally killed her. Now even Trey becomes suspicious and asks Kelvin where he buried her. The next morning, we see Zoe again. When she wakes up, she finds herself in a farmhouse. She has no idea how or why she got there. Then she notices a large number of weapons. And from that, she understands what she needs to do next. Meanwhile, when the group of men go to Zoe's grave, they realize her body is missing. Kelvin insists that he killed her himself and buried her with his own hands. He says there was no chance she could survive and feels something is very wrong. After this, Trey tells everyone that they need to go underground for a few days, until things cool down, so they plan to leave the area temporarily. One of their friends, while packing at home, notices his car tire has been punctured. He sees that it was pierced by an arrow and realizes his death is near. He quickly calls his friends, asking them to come fast because she has arrived. At that moment, we see Zoe behind him, holding a bow and arrow. She attacks him repeatedly with arrows and kills him despite his attempts to escape. After some time, Trey checks his phone and realizes his friend is in trouble. Meanwhile, Zoe starts behaving very strangely, as if she doesn't know what she's doing. When she looks at herself in the mirror, she is shocked. Her hands are badly wounded, and when she removes the bandage, she sees small insects crawling inside her wounds. She doesn't understand what's happening, but she wants answers. So she goes directly to Henry. Seeing her, Henry already understands why she came. He tells her she had no chance of surviving, but he still tried to save her, and she survived. However, during the process, the soul of a great warrior entered her body. That warrior's name is Magnus, whose family was killed by these men's ancestors. Now he has merged with her and wants revenge through her. Henry warns her that her body may not last long, so she must finish her mission as soon as possible. Meanwhile, Trey visits the place where his friend was killed. He tells everyone that Zoe is alive and now targeting them one by one. She wants revenge, so they must act quickly. The group creates a strong plan to eliminate her. After this, we see a dog tearing apart a piece of flesh. When its owner finds out, she calls the sheriff. It is revealed that the farmhouse where Zoe took the weapons belongs to this couple. When the sheriff investigates the farmhouse, he finds a ring there, which belongs to Zoe and was accidentally left behind. After the report comes in, the sheriff realizes that the same person who used the phone outside is responsible for the bar murders. After this, we see Nova sitting sadly, remembering his girlfriend. We also realize that Zoe is standing just outside his room, hiding. She doesn't want to face him in her current condition. She even sends him a message telling him to forget her. As soon as Nova reads it, he understands that she is nearby. But just as he is about to step outside, the group of men arrives and attacks him. They beat him badly and kidnap him, planning to use him as bait. Their plan is simple: torture the boy so the girl surrenders herself. But they don't realize that Zoe is already one step ahead of them. She attacks one of their friends with an arrow, piercing it straight through his neck. Seeing this, they try to escape in their car because they know they can't fight her. But Zoe doesn't let them go. She jumps onto the moving car and starts fighting Kelvin. They fight for a long time, but Kelvin cannot defeat her. She overpowers him, but Trey finds an opportunity and slams the brakes, throwing Zoe off the car. Then he runs her over brutally and drives away. Even after that, Zoe is not affected much. However, they take Nova with them. They bring him back to their hideout and tie him up while planning their next move. By now, they are sure that some spirit has entered Zoe's body. They realize killing her won't be easy, so they call in heavily armed men. They believe these weapons will finally stop her. Then we see Zoe again. Her body is badly broken. She painfully fixes her limbs and tapes them back together. Even her torn abdomen is held together with tape. After some time, the spirit of Magnus emerges from her body, making her even stronger and providing her with weapons. Meanwhile, the man who was shot through the neck is still alive and tries to escape in a car. But before he can get away, Zoe appears in front of the car and throws a spear, killing him instantly. Her terrifying return fills everyone with fear. They shoot at her, but she escapes and begins hunting them down one by one. Since they split up while searching for her, she easily kills them individually. When Kelvin goes near the switchboard, Zoe appears and kills him. By now, she has eliminated almost all of them, only Trey remains. At that moment, the sheriff arrives. Trey fails to kill him and runs outside, where the sheriff points a gun at him. But Trey seizes a moment and shoots the sheriff instead, then escapes in a car. Meanwhile, Zoe comes close to Nova but doesn't speak to him. Nova sees her reflection and asks her to stay, but she feels ashamed and leaves. After this, Trey goes directly to Henry. He realizes that whatever happened to Zoe is because of Henry. Henry explains that Zoe was already dead, he only tried to save her. But during the ritual, Magnus' soul entered her body. That is the reason she is still alive. Trey then asks how she can be stopped. Henry tells him the only way is to bring Magnus' remains and bury them in sacred ground so his soul can finally rest. Trey returns home, gathers the skeletons, and brings them back. But while burying them, he realizes Magnus' remains are missing because they are with Zoe. Trey grabs a chain cutter and attacks her, leading to a final fight. But he cannot defeat her because Magnus' spirit is inside her. Zoe injures his legs and even cuts off one of his hands. Just as she is about to kill him, Trey manages to stab her with the chain cutter. But before dying, Zoe decapitates him. Later, when Nova arrives, he sees Trey's severed head. Then he finds Zoe, whose body is badly torn apart. She looks at Nova and asks him to bury her, so her soul can finally find peace. Gathering his courage, Nova pours gasoline over her and sets her on fire. Immediately after, both Zoe's soul and Magnus' soul are freed. They finally find peace. And with that, friends, the story comes to an end.